Tom Eaton has worked these Cotswold uplands for 50 years. His speech has the elongated vowels and rolled R that we've just heard about. Listen to how he pronounces farm, five, and life.
A lot of people think that farming's all pleasure, you know, but people come for holidays, say, oh, lovely life, farm life, and it's like this, but when you're at it every day, it's not so good, I must say. All weathers. Well, we reckon to finish about 5 in the winter and the dark nights, of course. Start about 6 in the morning, finish about 5 and through the winter time. 7 days a week, nearly all the time, of course. But I suppose you get used to it, you're bred and born to it, and you just take it as it comes, I suppose.
Time and again, Shakespeare's poetry reminds us of his country boyhood.
There's the old story of Hamlet saying there's a divinity that shapes our ends, rough hew them how we will, and of a person not so many years ago meeting an old hedge cutter in the lane with his assistant and asking him what he was doing, and the reply was, he rough hews them and I shape their ends.
I believe Shakespeare had a Warwickshire accent and probably held on to it for all his life. People were not ashamed of their accents, they kept them, and there was that kind of diversity. And the idea of standard speech was not accepted at all in that time. And he seems, by everything we know about him, to have remained very proudly a Warwickshire man. I think if you love the plays and you read the plays and you see the plays and you walk around Warwickshire, it does come together. There's nowhere closer to Shakespeare than Warwickshire, the Warwickshire countryside and the Warwickshire villages.
The closest we can come to the sound of Shakespeare's own speech is in the little villages around Stratford itself. The cider drinkers of Elmley Castle in neighbouring Worcestershire still speak English in a way that Shakespeare himself would recognize.
You, Tom. Bad luck too. Oh, what is she?
Well, I used to take cider or homemade wine to school when I was 5 years of age, so that's 54 years ago, that is.
I shall have five this morning, I hope. And 3 pints of beer tonight and a pint of cider with me supper. And then to bed. I know I don't catch a cold. Remember that, Tom?
Bear in mind that cider drinking will kill you. It definitely will. It killed my father, cider drinking did. It took 84 years to do it, though.
What's it like?
Very good.
As we'll see, it was the speech of people like these that went with the Elizabethan seafarers to America. This golden age also saw a publication that has probably had an even greater influence than Shakespeare's first folio on the language of ordinary people. The translation of the Bible into the English of the authorized version. Here at last was the Word of God, expressed in terms that everyone could understand. Bring hither the fatted calf and kill it. Lord, now lettest thou thy servant depart in peace according to thy word. Physician, heal thyself. For many are called, but few are chosen. All they that take the sword shall perish with the sword. Where Shakespeare drew on his teeming vocabulary of 34,000 words, The new translation achieved the majestic effects of its prose with barely 8,000.
In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. And God said, "Let there be light." And there was light. And God saw the light, that it was good. And God divided the light from the darkness. And God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And the evening and the morning were the first day.
It's an interesting reflection on the state of the language that the poetry of the authorized version came not from a single writer, but from a committee, some of whom worked here at the University of Cambridge. One of the translators was a certain John Boys, a fellow of St. John's College here in Cambridge. A brilliant scholar, he and 5 colleagues spent most of the year, 1610, refining and revising the final draft. Their brief: to make the King James Bible not only read well in English, but sound well, a quality for which it's revered to this day. Let's compare a passage in Henry VIII's Great Bible with one in the King James Version. The Great Bible, in chapter 12 of Ecclesiastes, the preacher says, "Or ever the silver lace be taken away, or the gold band be broke, or the pot be broke at the well, and the wheel upon the cistern, then shall the dust be turned again unto earth from whence it came, and the spirit shall return unto God which gave it. All is but vanity, saith the preacher, all is but plain vanity." And the King James makes that into, "Or ever the silver cord be loosed, or the golden bowl be broken, or the pitcher be broken at the fountain, or the wheel broken at the cistern, then shall the dust return to the earth as it was, and the spirit shall return unto God who gave it. Vanity of vanities, saith the preacher, all is vanity." And I think you can see from that comparison that not only is the King James Version clearer, but a good deal more poetic.
In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. The same was in the beginning with God. All things were made by him, and without him was not anything made that was made. In him was life, and the life was the light of men. And the light shineth in darkness, and the darkness comprehended it not.
Contemporary with the King James Bible, the Book of Common Prayer expresses the rites of passage in the English church. From the cradle to the grave. Renounce the devil and all his works. Give us this day our daily bread. With this ring I thee wed. Earth to earth, dust to dust, ashes to ashes. There's an air of innocence to the ease with which Shakespeare and his contemporaries, poets, playwrights, even translating committees, explored the language to the limits. At the end of the 16th century, this was the language, rich in vocabulary, bursting with innovation, that was first brought to the New World by adventurers like Francis Drake and Walter Raleigh.